Hey everybody, welcome back. Part 2 or step 2 of the Blooming Crystal bracelet. This is Suzanne, Glass Garden Beads. And I'm going to turn the screen over so you can see what I've set up to do. And before okay, so the last time I finished with the base. Well, as I was thinking about this, all right, you're going to do your first base and you're going to have it all done, okay? And you're going to be at one end. And what we want to do is we want to finish our crystal on the button side. So we want to work from the loop side to the button side. All right, so I went ahead and I counted what we had here. And I think the directions are kind of loose when it comes to this because they want you to put the seed beads on to fit the button. Well, I counted and there's 31 beads. So I put on 31 seed beads. I exited that sharing bead. Remember, we have 3 above, 3 below, and we have that middle sharing bead. All right, so I've got that coming out of one end. So I'm going to, just like to make the loop, we go on top and then we're going to strand that. All right, there's my loop. Okay. Are we close or are we like a little bigger? It might be a little bigger. So now I'm going to go through this and go through it a second time. That's really all we need to do. Now, it does offer an option where if you want to, you can start a new thread for the loop. And you might decide to do that. Let's say something happens, the loop breaks, and because you use it a lot, that's one of the tension points. It can break on the loop, so you may want to use an extra thread. But for demonstrating, I got to tell you, I just used the same thread to show you how we're going to loop it all on. Okay, we came through that once. Here's the second time, and the loop is on. Now I'm going to try something here. I just want to see. Yeah, 31 beads is a good loop. All right, so I'm going to put this aside. We are pretending that I have got a whole bunch of bases down this way. And so I'm going to show you how to put on the flowered top, the crystal flowers. Okay, and that's over here. And we'll do 2 of those. And then I did go ahead and prepare, once you see that, I did go ahead and prepare a button, and I'm going to show you how do we finish off the back of the flower. It's the same, you do the button the same way that we're going to do the tops of these. You are going to do a little something different in the back, okay? So let's get going on doing the flower tops. So we've done our loop, we went around it twice, 31 beads. We're coming out of our fire polish. What we're going to do is we are going to connect the bicones to the fire polish. All right. So when we start, and this is for starting each one of these, we start with 1 fire polish, a seed bead, 1 fire polish. All right. We are coming out of the top of this bead. I'm going to do the circle. See that circle with thread? I'm going to finish that up. We have now connected the 2 fire polish to that bead. Okay. So now we need to add some more crystals. So we're going to follow the thread path, which is going counterclockwise. And in this case, anyway, we're going to go through the next fire polish bead. We added 2 to start with, but now we go back to add 1. 1 crystal, 1 seed bead, And we're going to put our needle back down through the crystal. See that? Not the seed bead up there, just the crystal. And we're going to come right back down. And we're going to finish our circle by going back through the fire polish. And we've just connected the crystal to this fire polish here, the second one. Now we're going to go through the next fire polish. Okay. And we're going to add a crystal. We're going to add a seed bead. Again, the previous crystal, we're going to go right down through. The seed beads are just sitting there. We're not connecting them yet. We're not putting our thread through them. They're just sitting up there. Go back through because we want to make that motion. Okay. Trying to get this to, there we go. See that? All right. Pull it through. That ends the thread path. And we're going to go into the next fire polish. Okay. Once we're through the next fire polish, we're going to add a crystal. We're going to add a seed bead. And again, repeat. Go back down through the crystal. Back through the fire polish. And progress to the next fire polish. Okay. Get that tail out of the way. I'm going to add another crystal. We are proceeding around the whole fire polish base, that whole unit of 8. All right, so we've got our crystal, we got our seed bead. We're going back down through the previous crystal. Got to get my, that's a better angle, okay. Finish up the thread path, which means we bring it back through the base fire polish. Because we're going counterclockwise, we're going to continue that way. We're going to, again, go into the next fire polish in the unit. Okay. Add a crystal. Add a seed bead. We're going to go back down through the crystal. Kind of push the seed bead away. There we go. Finish the thread path. So we came up, down, and across. So we've completed our mini circle. Get the thread out of there. Again, we can't add a crystal until we've passed through the next fire polish. We're on our last crystal now. And here's the idea. I would actually count out the 8 because sometimes you can get carried away, and then you end up adding one more crystal than you need and it doesn't lay right. And then you find out all you did wrong was put too many crystal in and it's a mess. So we've already made our connection back down the previous crystal. Finish up our thread path. And just like before, we proceed again through the next fire polish. Now we have added all our crystal, but you see right here, it's not connected yet. All the crystals there, there's 8 crystal, but they're just not connected. So we have come up through at the end of this fire polish, we're going to go right up the crystal that is mounted right there. Not the seed bead, just the crystal. And we're going to come up. And now we're going to add just one. We didn't add a crystal. We went right up the crystal that was already there, but we are going to add the 8th seed bead. All right. And we're going to come back down the crystal that's next to it, the last crystal we put in. and then we're going to finish up by going back down through the fire polish. So now all our beads, all our crystals are actually connected, but the seed beads aren't. See that? So we are going to come up the closest crystal where our thread is exiting, right there. And we are going to go slow here. We are, since our path was going around counterclockwise, the thread is coming out here. I'm going to grab the crystal, or the, excuse me, I just started laughing and choked, the seed bead, and I'm going to go to the next seed bead in line. And we're just going to very slowly go through the seed beads in order and kind of go around, not missing a seed bead. You'll notice right away if a seed bead got missed, it will stick out. And we're going to keep going, all right? And we're going to go around one more time. See that? And each time, the second time we go around, it's going to be a nice, tight circle. See how nice that's getting? I'm going to go all the way around. All right. Now, I just happen to exit on what right above the connector. See that? The seed bead's there, the connector bead, that middle bead's down there. So I'm going to go in it, and I'm going to add a 3mm Swarovski crystal pearl, and I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go into the 4th bead from the top. Since I exited, oh, that thread there, I exited that bead from the top, I'm going to go into the top of the 4th bead, which is straight across. See that? And I get it right? I hope I did here. 1, 2, 3. Nope, I didn't. I thought that looked funny. Okay, there's your, it's straight across. Good thing I counted. All right, so now we're exiting this bead right there. And I'm going to go into the crystal, pearl, pull, and I came out the bottom of this bead. So I'm going to enter the bottom of the connecting seed bead across from there. And again, we're going to do this twice. We're going to pass through twice. Through. We're coming out the top of that connector seed bead. So we're going to enter, our needle's going to go into the top of the bead straight across. So if you get lost, let me get this, all this thread out of the way here. So if you get lost, there's always 3 beads that match each other. And then these 2 are the connectors, the ones that are straight across. All right, so I'm exiting the bottom. I'm going to go back through the pearl, and we've now completed back and forth. Maybe I went more than twice. I can't remember. I was doing so much talking. So anyway, we've got the pearl, and you're going to go a minimum of twice. And I just squished the flower. Hold on. I pinched that, and it was doing so good. What happened is that little crystal just sunk in. So I'm going to just take one of my tools, and I'm just going to kind of put it back where it belongs. There it goes. So I have now got my thread coming out of the pearl side by the seed beads, but I want to get over here because we want to add another flower. So all you have to do is just go slowly. Okay. Get this tail out of there. Okay. So up here, I am just going to go back down through the crystal that it's closest to. See that? I'm just going to go down, and again, counterclockwise. I'm going to stitch my way over through the 4mm fire polish. And I'm going to enter the unit of the second. Now, because this is a sharing bead, this still is part of that second unit, okay? So I'm coming out. Can I show that right there? Coming out right there. And now I'm going to start my second flower. My second flower is going to be green, and I've already put 8 crystals aside. We're going to add, remember, we start with a crystal, a seed, and a crystal. And this is in the directions. And since we're coming out of this bead right here, the needle, my working thread is going to come to complete the flower. Oh, come on. There we go. That way. So it came out of there. So we're completing our circle. All right. So let's pull this. Get that over here. Okay. So we've got our beads connected to that fire polish. Now, because I kind of went counterclockwise, I'm coming back down. I'm going to go clockwise. So we've completed our circle, and we have to go forward 1 fire polish so we can go to the next addition of crystal. So we're going to add a crystal, and now we're adding a crystal and a seed bead. And we're going to come back through the crystal the last crystal we added, right straight down. And we're going to go through the fire polish that crystal's sitting on or set between. Okay. I'm going to pull, and we're going to proceed ahead 1 more fire polish. Again, the direction we're going, we're staying in a consistent direction of the thread. And that, in this case, it went from counterclockwise coming through, and now we're going clockwise. Okay, so we're now ready to add a crystal to mount it right in there. So it's a crystal and a seed bead. Go down through the prior crystal, just the crystal, not the seed bead. Oh, come on here. There we go. We're always exiting right at the intersection of the fire polish. Okay, coming back, we're going to finish that kind of circle we do, and we're going to progress 1 more fire polish. Okay, but we got to make sure we get the needle right through the hole, for heaven's sakes. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to pick up the pace here. I think we all know how to add a flower right now. I'm just go back down through. And progress to the next one. Crystal, seed bead, back down through, finish the thread path, proceed to the next fire polish. Okay, here we go. Down through. And I did add a crystal and a seed bead. That's what we want to do. Finish the thread path. Let's get that in there. There we go. And proceed to the next fire polish. I believe we're on our last crystal. Yep, we're on our last crystal. Add a seed bead. Go back down through the crystal we just did. There we go. And we're going to go through the thread path, and we're going to again proceed to the next fire polish. Now we have got all our crystals on, remember? So we're going to come back up that next fire polish that's there. And we're not adding any crystal, but we are adding our number 8 seed bead. And now we're going to connect and we're going back through the crystal that was just placed. And we're going to go finish our thread path. It's always up, down, and through. Okay. And we have now completed all of our crystals. And like before, remember, we want to now connect the seed beads. So we're coming out of here. We just go directly up the crystal that's right there. All right. We're going clockwise. So I'm going to go this way, right? And I'm going to very slowly, in order, in line, pick up the seed beads. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to keep going. And remember, we go around twice, slowly though, because the first time we want to make sure we get through them all. And then the second time is literally setting them, pulling it a little tighter. And so we have a nest for the pearl. All right, see that? Almost done. Oops, I want to go through the seed bead. And yeah, make sure that your needle is finishing where you want it to be. All right, so I'm going to pull. See how nice that got when we pulled? Perfect. So what seed bead am I coming out of? I'm coming out of this one right there. And I'm coming out of the bottom. All right. So that means when I add my 3mm pearl, and I want to find the bead straight across, okay, this is the bead that I'm coming out of. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come up and through the 4th bead. Whoops, I just lost it. Okay, I'm coming out of here. I've added my pearl. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come from the bottom up, going clockwise again. And we're going to, that's going to sit very nicely right in there. So it's still not connected. So I'm going to come back through the pearl, and my thread actually exited the top of that bead. So then what we're going to do is go to the top of the connecting bead on the other side and bring your thread through. Let's get this tail out of here. There we go. And then I'm going to go through the pearl again. I'm counting this time. This is the second time. And back up. That 4th bead and back again. So we have now completed basically showing you how to put flowers on the top of your base. Now I'm going to bring my thread around to here, which if you're doing your full piece, this is where we started and we went this way. There's a long tail on this side. So we are assuming this is the last bead in our section in your bracelet. And I am going to, oh, I see I got a caught here. Well, we'll fix that later. But right now I am going to get this uncaught. There we go. It's coming. It's coming. Where is it? Okay. Bring this back. I had a thread caught, so I'll have to fix it later, but I'm going to keep going here, showing you. We're going to take our needle down the closest crystal, and then we're going to stitch across using the fire polish to get where we want to be. Okay. I'm now going to take my needle out. We are going to tie this off. I'm going to cut, where's my scissors? Right here. I'm going to cut one end. Now you can also weave this back in. I'm using a thread burner. I am kind of being a lazy beater here. I'm going to cut that a little closer. There we go. Okay. So this will be what we connect our button with. Let's get this over here. So basically, we are here. All right. So I did the same thing. I made the base, 8 fire polish around, did it twice, tied my knot, and I'm going to put my working thread back on. I did the top just like I did all the flowers here. And we are going to get the needle back on. Okay. And it shows now we're exiting the base of our fire polish. We're going to add 5 beads, and these are seed beads. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just like we did before, we're going to go around the same way. Okay, see those? Okay, it's important because this top one, this middle third one, that's going to be like your seed beads here. Okay, now we are going to, we're out here, we are going to go up 2 beads. We're sharing. Okay, see that? And we're going to add 3 more beads. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go around. We're going to come up the 2, down the 3 again, and go through. And we're going to add 3 beads. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to share. So we're back to sharing these 2. Okay, we're coming out there. We're going to go back here. And just like before, we're going to proceed 1 more fire polish. Oh, I'm getting all twisted up. Sorry about that. We're adding 3 more. And we're sharing the 2 as we come down in. I'm going to show you. Does that help you? The directions are actually, it's good. Okay. Put this over here. So there's a total of 5, but we're sharing the last 2. Okay. And then these guys are going to be our connectors. So we go same thread path up and around. Up and around. Add 3 beads. And these are the 2 we share. We take the 2 from the other side. Come down 2. Go through. And go through the next one. Just going to continue going around. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my voice there. All right, I'm coming up. I'm going to go down the 2, sharing the 2, plus I have the 3 that I added. Back through the fire polish into the next fire polish. One, 2, 3. I'm sharing these 2. Okay. Got 3 already on there. Back through. Completing. Okay. And into the next one. And guess what we're doing? Just like on before. We're going to come up 2 beads. We're going to add a bead because that's the tip. And we're going to come down because we're sharing 4. We just needed to add 1 more to make 5. All right, so you kind of have that look. All right, do you see that? All right, so now what are we going to do? We are going to bring our thread around, just like before, proceed the same direction. We are now going to come up. We're not adding anything. We're coming up the 2 beads. And remember what we're doing? We're connecting these little guys, the ones right in the inside. So let's count. 1, 2, 3. Make sure I'm counting right. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. 8 and 1. So now look at that nice little circle we've got. Okay, now guess what we did. What happened when we got our nice little circle? We go through it again. Carefully, because it's harder to see. I got to tell you, it's harder to see those beads. So you're going to go slow. 1, we're going to go 3. We have a nice closed off button. All right, well, I got to go through 2 more. I see them right here. All right. Remember how we add that shank? Here's where we add the shank. Just like a pearl. We stick that in there and we go right across. If we're coming, just like before, if we're coming out of this one from the top, where is it? This one. No, it's this one from the bottom. We're going to 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into this one from the bottom up. We have to have 3 in between. So 1, 2, 3. Here's the 4th one right there. Okay. So when we pull this, there you go. Your shank is right there. It's sticking out a little bit and you want that. Okay. So just like before, we're coming out of our seed. Okay. We're going to bring it back through the shank, just like the pearl. We're going to, since we went from the bottom, we're going to go bottom up through the shank and top down. So you're just connecting. And since this is a shank, I'm going back and forth more times. I went 3, right? Did I go 3? I would do 3. All right. So we have now made the shank of the button. All right. We're going to tie this off. So I'm now going to go into the seed beads. I don't want to make a line. We're going to go right into the seed bead. I'm going to catch a thread here from the base, do a half hitch. I'm going to go to the next bead over. Let's see if we can do that here. There we go. Pull some thread, do a half hitch. One more. I'll do 3 knots. We have a very nice little button we made. All right. We are going to cut this thread and we're going to burn it off, or you can weave it in. Okay. There we go. Is it burning? There we go. So we've got our nice little shank here. We've got our button made. Okay. Now, remember the part that we were going to connect? So here's our shank that the beads are going to go through. So I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to put it on the tail thread. Here's the tail thread we've been fighting with the whole time. I do hate tail threads. I really do. But in this case, it's going to work out nice. So where is my end here? Oh, you can tell I'm getting tired. End of the day. Here, let me pinch that so I can see it. All right. But we're so close to being done with this, and you'll be able to just kind of go through your bracelet. That is such a nice little button. I'm really pleased with it. All right, so here's what we want to have happen. We want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads. Well, that makes sense, right? So here I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into the shank. 5 more. Let's pull this thread so we got, there we go. 5 more beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we want to go through our connector bead right here. You can tell I've gone through this quite a bit. Oh, I'm just stuck. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, see that motion? We've got 5 beads here, and then we're going to come around. So it's always this circular right angle weave motion. All right, there we go. Look at that. Look at that, 5, 5. Back up through, typical. Now we're going to just go and reinforce. We got everything connected. We are like seconds from being done. Seconds, maybe minutes. It's okay. Now I got that clock way down here. All right. Through there. That makes it such a nice shank bead. This little button, you could do this for other kits or other projects. All right. So I would go, I think I would do 3 times if we can, if you have room in your fire polish bead here. There we do. I do. So that's 2. Let's finish off with 3, because there's nothing worse than losing, you know, right where you have your button and it breaks. Oh, just terrible. Through the shank, back down through. we are done. Let's get through there. I'm so excited I can't get my needle through the hole. There we go. All right, and I'm going to finish up the thread path just like you have to do. All right, and guess what we're going to do? Catch some thread, do a half hitch, and you can look that up in YouTube or whatever kind of knots. Again, we're going to keep going through here because we want to have this a nice connection here. Don't want any 2, and then there's 3, and then I'm going to burn it. I just made such a nice little unit here. All right. Hey, we did it. Hey, Kath, I hope you like this. I hope it works. Email me if you find that there's something confusing or you didn't get a good view. Okay. Where's mine? I just dropped a fire polish. I'll have to get that. I'm so excited. I got my whole mat moving around. Okay, let's get that done. Is it done? No, I didn't catch it. Okay, let's get burned down here. Okay. So look at this. Oh, I didn't do the whole thing, but look at, there we go. We've got the shank button made. I want to go, there you go. And the base. And you now know how to do the flowers. And you now know how to do the loop. Phew, we did it, gang. Have a good evening or good day or whenever you view this. Have a good one. All right.